bunch of like layoffs, right? A lot of people got laid off. So this is like what leaks from what's happening at Blizzard Entertainment. Love reading this. Let's read this. Overwatch 2 is undergoing a hasty redesign behind the scenes, relaunching as Overwatch Next, which is essentially Overwatch 1 trying to undo the damage. No way. No way. I feel like, you know what's really surprising about this one is I was actually just talking to Eddie about it. Overwatch 2 is surprisingly not doing that bad on Steam. Like, that's actually pretty decent for a game that like didn't actually have a huge success right from the beginning. And this is only people who play the game on Steam. We don't know how many people are playing on battle.net, or I think Overwatch 2 came out on consoles. If I'm going to be honest, I have actually no idea. So I'm not the worst. I'm not like that pessimistic on Overwatch 2. Yeah, I know the reviews, guys. I do know the reviews, but the reviews are also like not a huge indication of how many people are playing the game, because the game got legit like review bombed, right? Which is fine, right? People were not happy with how they released it, but people still play it, right? They're not like together. They can be mutually exclusive. Diablo 4 has lost most of its original development staff, and the seasonal team is taking over and working on an expansion to act as a soft reboot. Okay, so I could be wrong, but I believe Diablo 4 right now is taking a huge L, isn't it? If we go look on Twitch stats, and we search for Diablo 4, I think the game got like, I think the game is significantly dropping, right? Oh my God. Ew, what? Dude, that's horrific. Oh my God. Okay, but for context, Diablo 3 is not really a good example, like a comparison, because Diablo 3 didn't really come out when Twitch was popping as much. But I'll show you an example. Like Hearthstone, even though the game has been out for 10 years, it's still averaging more than Diablo 4, and Diablo 4 literally came out this year. That's actually pretty incredible. That's wild, man. That's horrific. Like, especially if you think that if you were hyped for Diablo 4, God, the game must have been such a big disappointment. Dragonflight is the remains of a canceled mobile game co-produced with Chinese partners that was bolted on World of Warcraft to pad a massive gap after the catastrophic response to patch 9.1. This lead to a ship in the tone that the players have noticed and found off-putting. 11.1 is to be announced at BlizzCon, which will shift a free-to-play seasonal battle pass model similar to Destiny 2 with smaller scale micro expansions sold as an optional premium DLC that will include elements like new dungeons that require these DLC packs to access. So Dragonflight is World of Warcraft, right? I don't know anything about World of Warcraft, if I'm going to be completely honest. So I'm assuming that's not good. Like, I don't really know what that means in the grand scheme of the game. Obviously, I'm going to use Twitch stats again, because Twitch stats is like a decent metric, but I don't know if World of Warcraft is doing that. The thing about World of Warcraft, though, is like World of Warcraft is actually doing surprisingly well, because not even surprisingly, people really like hardcore Warcraft right now, right? So there's like a huge bump in popularity as far as I'm concerned about the heroic version of World of Warcraft. So I'm not sure like how relevant this really is. This is a tough one, because if I was Blizzard, and I think Blizzard owns the server for hardcore World of Warcraft, I would kind of lean into that a little bit more. Yeah, there's a difference between retail and classic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Odyssey. What the hell is, anyone know what Odyssey is? I've actually no idea what Odyssey is. Anyone? Odyssey is being revamped for the 3rd time and will not be ready for multiple years at this point, with worries that its survival crafting focus is already going to be outdated by the time it releases. Oh, is that like the a lot of the Hearthstone team has actually gone to like a survival horror game, or survival like MMO game that Blizzard's making behind the scenes, but we haven't really seen anything on it. They kind of just announced it. They haven't really showed it. So it'll be interesting to see what that actually ends up being. But like, for instance, like Matt London, the guy who was like the game modes lead on Hearthstone, went to go work on that for the narrative team. So it'll be interesting. Hearthstone is at the lowest engagement metrics it's ever been at. Attempts to increase monetization per player has failed, and it's considered on its last legs. Oh, fuck. Woo, okay. Hearthstone is at its lowest engagement metrics it's ever been at. All right, let me pull up the Twitch stats here again. Hold on. I wish I kept this open. Hearthstone. Let's take a peek. So, I mean, on Twitch, it's actually doing okay. Like, rank 33 for a 10-year-old game is definitely not the worst thing in the world. So that's kind of brutal. I'm not going to lie. I can't really look at YouTube viewership because YouTube viewership doesn't really have like a thing like this. Lowest engagement metrics it's ever been at. See, it's tough to know what that actually means because lowest engagement metrics is actually not, it shouldn't be surprising, right? Like the game is old as fuck, right? The game is old. So I wouldn't be surprised after like 10 years if the game is like, if the game is at its lowest because, you know, other games come out, people get tired of playing the same games. It's hilarious. I don't know. I think that the problem is, for Hearthstone at least, is that everything they've tried recently just hasn't worked. Like Battlegrounds was an anomaly, like actually an anomaly, because they didn't think it was going to be as successful. They made it as a tavern brawl first and it was like amazing, right? Twist and Mercenaries both kind of didn't hit the mark as far as I'm concerned. And you could tell Twist isn't doing extremely well as a brand new game mode, because if you go to the leaderboards section of Hearthstone, there is 12,000 people in standard on Americas. In Wild, there is 8,000. And then if you go to Twist, there's 946. So if that doesn't really tell you how well that format's doing, it probably is. And then if we go check out Mercenaries has more players in it than Twist. Huh. That's really interesting. I guess Europe might have more players. Let's take a peek. It should be a bigger discrepancy. 50,000 in Europe. Wild has 7,000. And then in Twist, it has 1,200. So the bad thing is that both of the new formats that Hearthstone has provided has probably not been optimal at all. Which is really unfortunate, because that means that when the Hearthstone team wants to try something new, that Blizzard's probably going to be like, no, we don't want you guys to do that. So attempts to increase monetization per player has failed, and it's considered on its last legs. Monetization has failed. I'm trying to think about what they have tried recently to actually improve monetization or try to get people to buy. Let's go take a peek. Also, let me see the shop real fast. So I've noticed that they've done mini sets, which I'm assuming mini sets have been extremely popular because of the fact that you could buy them for actual gold, right? You can spend 2,000 gold to get all these cards. There's a lot more bargains, but like if someone wasn't going to spend the money anyways, I'm not sure if the bargains really matter. So I don't know if that's going to be the thing. There's been a ton more skins. The skin portion of Hearthstone has absolutely popped off. But again, I don't know how many people are actually caring about this. Like me personally, I'm not the biggest person for skins. I bought the Cthulhu skin because I thought the Cthulhu skin looked really funny. I'm also a streamer, right? So unless you like really care about this about the Cthulhu skin, I don't know. There's also signature cards, which again, the problem with signature cards is in real games, like for instance, I've been playing Lorcana, right? Lorcana is a good example because I can really do the comparison here. The thing is that Lorcana, actually you can sell your cards for like physical, or you get real money back, right? So if I sort it by like the highest price, this is $800 for like the signature version of the card. But then if I look for like the regular version of this card, it's $40, right? So by me like opening more packs, if I end up getting this like alternate version of the card, it's worth so much more in monetary value, where like in Hearthstone, it doesn't change anything. Like it doesn't change anything. So I could see that people wouldn't be like super excited to open signatures, because for most people who play this game, they probably rather have another card than have the cosmetic of the signature. So I could see this being like not very engaging for a lot of the people who play this game. I could just see it. Do signatures have animations when they're played? No. Basically, the only difference, I'll just show you because, you know, we all, for those of you who are here for the Tony arc, right? This is the only difference. There's this card. This is the regular card. This is what it looks like. It looks beautiful. Love this card. And then this is what the signature version looks like. I think the signature version of this card looks really good. But if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think if I was a streamer, I would have tried to get it. I think if I opened it in a pack, I would have been super excited. But I don't think that like this is enough for people to be engaged in spending money in Hearthstone. Then we have I don't know if I can look up diamond cards. Can I look up diamond cards? Okay, so then we have diamond cards, which, to be fair, some of them look really good. Like this one actually looks really good. But the other problem is what I just said with signature cards is a lot of people don't care, because a lot of people don't own every single card. So if you open up, like if you get a diamond card, like you can't open a diamond card, you have to literally buy it, or you get it in the battle pass. Most people would rather have another 2 cards or more legendaries than just one cosmetically cool looking card. Most people. Some people are going to really like the diamond cards. But again, like the problem with Hearthstone is like, these are cool effects, but why do I care as someone who just wants to own the cards and play with cards? Because like, if I'm going to be real here, right? Like if I don't own every legendary, I would want to disenchant this so I can get more cards. So do you think that signature Tony is worth every penny that you spend? Genuinely asking. Yes, because I'm a streamer. It doesn't. So the thing about Tony for me, and this is why I'm okay with spending that much money. Like I spent like $500 to get this card, right? That $500 is used for dust. It's used to craft more cards for content. Also getting the card was content, and all the money I put towards it is a tax write-off because I was using it to create content for my job. So that's why I'm okay with it, right? If I was, that's what I'm saying. If I was a regular person, I wouldn't be super excited to play this, or I wouldn't try to get it. If I open it up in a pack, I'd be like, okay, like, wow, that's super cool. But there's no way I would go out of my way to get it like that. There's no fucking way. Absolutely not. It was just cool. It was just like a really cool thing to do with chat. And it was really cool that it was like the last card I got. So, yeah. What's the, there's, I feel like, okay. Oh yeah. And then, so BGs, before with BGs, I don't care about these. Before with BGs, you used to be able to get 4 choices when you picked your heroes at the start of the game. They changed it to 2. And in order for you to get 4 again, you have to buy the season pass, which is $20. I would wager, if you put a gun to my head, I would say most Hearthstone players currently are playing this game mode, right? I would say that most people are playing this format. If you go look on Twitch right now, actually, Twitch is a good indication of this. If you go look on Twitch, hold on, I'm opening Twitch, twitch.tv. Before it was 2, but yeah, you can get it for gold. Sorry, yeah, my apologies. I'll fix. Yeah, so you used to spend 2,000 gold to get this, to get the season pass. Now you can't get anymore. But if you look at Hearthstone Twitch, right? BGs, standard, BGs, standard, or whatever, regular game mode. Wow, actually, there's a lot more people playing the regular format. BGs, regular format, BGs, wild, arena draft, BGs. He's talking about the things, standard. Oh, wow. I'm surprised how many people are actually playing standard. I think on average, the more you go, you'll see that more people are playing BGs. But I think that the more crucial thing is like the top 5 streamers in Hearthstone right now, one of them is playing standard, right? One of them is playing standard, where the most popular streamers currently are all playing Battlegrounds. So they probably thought that doing this change was going to be a pretty big increase in monetary for money for the company, because, you know, people want the 4 things. But the problem is like, you have to spend 20 bucks on average. Maybe it's like 15 in the United States. And most of these skins, I don't know, like, I'm not a huge fan of them. Like, I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm more like whatever on them. I also don't play BGs too often, right? But I'm not like a cosmetic person, because for me, cosmetics is not like a huge thing. So Battlegrounds, I'm not sure how successful that is doing. Have any of you in chat bought a cosmetic for Battlegrounds? Because sometimes they do sell them in the shop. I feel like there is a Battleground shop, right? I could be wrong. Hold on. Oh. Isn't there a shop? Yeah, here we go. So you can also buy like cosmetics. 15 bucks for a bartender? God damn, bro. Holy shit. For the record, I didn't buy this. This was like free, I think. I didn't buy this, I promise. You could buy like skins and stuff. So I'm not sure if Battlegrounds is doing well. That's the other problem in terms of monetary value. So like, I'm not surprised that this would attempts to increase monetization for players has failed and it's considered on its last legs. Like, this doesn't necessarily surprise me, right? Now, I will say this. I don't know what it means to be on your last legs for a company, because if I'm going to be completely honest, Hearthstone makes a shit ton of money for basically what it is, right? Like, I'm sure they spend money to like run the game, make new cards, do the animations, get the art. Like, it does require a little bit more finesse to run a game like this, because Hearthstone's pivotal thing is the experience that you get for playing the cards. But like, I can't imagine it's losing that money. Like, I don't know how much a game needs to make in terms of like percentages compared to its cost, but I can't imagine Hearthstone's suffering. Like, I can't imagine they're losing money on Hearthstone. I can't. There's absolutely no way. So last legs is a little weird, because there's just no way. If you had 20 legs, being left on one would have been a bad, but if you had 2 to learn to walk on one, if you had 20 legs, being left on one would have been bad. If you had 2, you can learn to walk on one. I see what you're saying. My opinion, HS is Blizzard's best managed game. I 100% agree with you. Because the weird thing is, okay, and I know people are going to tell me I'm coping, and I know people are going to tell me I'm stupid, whatever, but Hearthstone, arguably is in its best state it's been in a very long time. Like, it's arguably in its best state. If you don't like the meta, that's completely fine. But like, in terms of what the game has done and what the game is and what they've gone for, I think that it's done pretty well. And it's, for almost 10 years past, well, almost 10 years since its release, right? It's done a good job. Like, it's extremely difficult to make a game last for 10 years, man. I can't even describe how difficult that would be. So almost 10 years, and the game is still doing very well on Twitch. I don't know like what it is. So they did do layoffs. As far as I'm concerned, if we go on like r/Hearthstone, because I did notice this yesterday. I'm not someone who really interacts on social media, but like, I did notice that, come on, the Hearthstone team's getting restructured alongside more layoffs at Blizzard. Like, I did see this. A lot of people, like 10 people got the laid off at Blizzard from the Hearthstone team, which sucks. Like, it's so brutal, dude. Like, I couldn't even imagine how awful that must have been. But God, I don't know. Like, so Microsoft just, they sealed the deal, right? Like, they own Blizzard Activision now, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they're just not in control of it yet, but they did seal the deal. So I'm curious to see what Microsoft actually ends up doing with Hearthstone, because they might just leave it alone and be like, you guys are doing fine. It could be better, but whatever. But I have actually no idea. Anyways, we'll come back to Hearthstone. I just want to read the rest of this. Diablo Immortal is extremely profitable, and its user-based retention has far exceeded expectations. Diablo Immortal is the mobile game, right? It's the mobile game. It is. No way. Man, I remember. Yo, do you guys have phones? Remember that? Wow, it's got a 4.6 on reviews, man. Wow. What does Hearthstone have on this? 4. Interesting. Okay. Is there a site that you can see how much money an app has made? Like earnings, maybe? Diablo Immortal has generated, this is June 16, 2023, bro. Diablo Immortal has generated around 22 million downloads and surpassed 525 million in players spending on iOS and Android in the 12 months since its launch. Dude, that's actually cracked. Like, what? Oh my God. Dude, that's so much money. That's so much money for a year, dude. That's actually insane. Sensor Tower, market leading. What is this? Top charts. Is the game still in China? Because I know that I do know that China doesn't have the, well, I guess that's actually another thing we should kind of discuss on the Hearthstone side, right? Hearthstone, one of the biggest reasons for Hearthstone was in China, but that it's no longer in China anymore. So they're probably losing more money because it's not in China. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, Microsoft has expressed interest once the merger goes through to break up Blizzard as a singular entity to distribute its IPs amongst their studios while closing and reallocating the billions of dollars in California real estate the company has been sitting on, trying to force a return to office policy to make them look like they are still needed. I mean, this one's actually kind of crazy because they did force employees to go back to the office at Blizzard. And I don't know if that was necessarily because of Microsoft itself, but let's see. WoW Classic has modder players than Motor has more players. What the hell does Motor mean? Motor players than retail World of Warcraft right now? I guess that's more. Retail World of Warcraft right now. Cataclysm Classic is not in the works. So WoW Classic is really weird because WoW Classic has so much nostalgia for players, but I also think that hardcore World of Warcraft is probably the greatest thing that's happened to that game in a very long time. Like, I don't even play World of Warcraft, but I was watching, who was I watching? Was it Mitch Jones? He was doing like a raid, and it's so much more intense watching it. So not only from a player perspective, from like a viewer perspective, hardcore World of Warcraft is a really good thing to happen for the game. And because World of Warcraft is so popular with like Classic, people loved it. I can't imagine that it's not doing well. Like it's doing very well right now. It's got to be crazy. Companies still rotating door of staff that are quickly leaving. Replacements are not sticking around long enough to seeking better pay and working conditions. I mean, this doesn't surprise me at all. What is hardcore? Hardcore World of Warcraft is if your character dies, you have to start a new character. Like you can't play on it again. Where in regular World of Warcraft, if your character dies, you could go back to your body, or you res at like your I think your last Hearthstone or the last innkeeper place you talk to. It's really cool, really cool. Really interesting. So this is interesting. I don't know. If this is real, like if this is real, I'm nervous. I am very nervous because I don't like the fact that the game that I play is on its last legs. I also just don't think it's that bad. But again, I don't know how much, like I don't know anything about business, right? Like I don't know how much money a game needs to make in order for it to be like profitable. You know what I mean? Or for it to be like considered not on its last legs. Because I'm very confident that Hearthstone's making money. But I don't know, man. Like I wonder how much Marvel Snap is taking from Hearthstone. Because I did was it Farfa that actually linked it to me? Hold on. I think it was Farfa. Give me a sec. Yeah. Okay, so Marvel Snap, this is when? September 5th, 2023. Marvel Snap has made over 100 million revenue with more than 22 million downloads. Yu-Gi-Oh is at 55 million, Magic Arena is at 19 million, and Hearthstone is at 18 million. Pokemon TCG Live is at 0, but that makes sense, right? Because they don't actually, I don't think you can actually spend money on that game. So Hearthstone's at its lowest, but 18, like what is this? Like over the month? I wish it would tell me. I wish I knew. how long this is. Hearthstone being less than Magic Arena is concerning though, considering that I guess Magic would be a bigger game though, right? Magic Arena, I wonder if Magic, how much players does Magic Arena have actually? Let's take a peek. Magic Arena. Oh, Magic Arena is actually, I mean, okay. I'm pretty confident that Hearthstone has more players than this. But maybe they're not making as much money from those players. Maybe that's the issue. HS has lost a lot of its audience because the currencies have been doing better, honestly. Like United Stormer did huge damage. Wait, HS has a lot of audience at times that the currencies have been doing better, honestly. Like United Storm did a huge damage. Demon Hunter Release was also huge damage at its early stakes. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I'm speaking purely from like an analytical perspective from YouTube, right? And I've showed you guys this before, right? Hearthstone has been downtrending for quite a while. Hearthstone's actually been kind of worrisome for the last little bit. I talk about it a lot, but the fundamental problem that Hearthstone has, here, I'll show you guys. Hold on. So like, this is move, please. Hello. Okay, I'll just go fuck myself. Can you get out? Huh? Okay. So this is Hearthstone in 2018. This is when this is, where was this? This is Witchwood. This is Ungoro. Wait, 2018. Oh no, sorry, hold on. 2018 was, this is Rosticons. This is Rise. This is Uldum. This is BGs, somewhere around there. This is Descent. Then we have Ashes of Outlands, which is a new class entering the scene, for the record. And then we have everything else after. So it's, you can tell that it's kind of shitty because like you can't even tell where like Death Knight really came out. Death Knight came out where? Here? Like that's kind of just unfortunate, right? And it's the same thing for YouTube search too. Just kind of dies. So I don't know. I guess the real thing about this is like, I don't know if this is real per se. I think they've done a pretty good, like me personally, as someone who is burnt out, guys, I've been playing this game for 10 years. I still think Hearthstone's really good. I'm just, you know, I could just see people being tired of playing the game, right? And maybe that's just the fundamental problem, is that they don't see the case of actually spending money on Hearthstone. It's crazy, dude. What a weird conundrum to think about. Last legs. I guess we'll really see where Hearthstone is with BlizzCon. Because if Hearthstone doesn't do something ginormous for BlizzCon, like it's very telling what's going to happen. Also, I feel like the bigger umbrella for all of this is just like Blizzard as a company, right? People, I'm going to be real with you guys. It doesn't feel great playing a Blizzard game for my job. Like, I'm going to be honest. It doesn't feel great. So there's just so much to unwrap here. Anyways, moral of the story is I hope Hearthstone's fine. I just don't know, right? I have no idea.